Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Really lovely to have you here. I'm Carolyn Baguma, the Senior Community Program Manager supporting our city coordinators in our host city. And we're so excited to be launching our community program in the Liverpool City region. So we're here to share our plans for the community program. And I don't know if you already know, this is a groundbreaking arts and education program exploring our shared history around the transatlantic enslavement of African people. Now, the Globe Trails go live between August and October, and thanks to the support of Liverpool City Region Combined Authority, as well as our presenting partner Sky, we are creating a moment for change and growth. So over the next 50 minutes, I will introduce you to our team that will join us in just a moment, and we'll hear from our founders, and then we'll hear a little bit more about the journey of discovery, the artistic program, and the learning program before hearing about the heritage and, of course, the community Inspire program. We'll have an opportunity at the end for questions, so please share your questions in the Q&A or the chat. And before we do introductions, please go ahead and share your name and your organization in the chat and any other questions you may have. If you need captioning, please click on the button at the bottom of your screen to activate transcriptions. And of course, keep an eye on the chat for our socials, our emails, and our in-person dates. So if I could invite the team to join me on screen. Please switch on your cameras so everyone can see your lovely faces. Amazing. Thank you so much. If I could hand it over to Chantel to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Lovely to meet you. I'm Chantel, and I work in partnerships here at the World Reimagined. Currently going through a storm in Accra, Ghana, where I'm based. So that is the reason why there is no light for me today, but I'm still here able to present for you. I just introduce you now over to Dennis.
I think we'll go over to Esther first.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Esther Carew. I'm the Heritage Lead. I'm really excited to be here in Liverpool, which is actually where I studied. So it's not too far from where I'm based at the moment in Manchester. So I'm really, really excited to see some of the projects and some of the activities that are happening in the Northwest. And I will hand over to the next person.
Thank you so much, Esther. If I could get Ibe to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Ibe. I'm the community coordinator for the World Reimagined. Really excited to be part of this project. I'm really happy that it's come to Liverpool, and hopefully we can do some amazing things. Thanks.
Thank you. And then Saha.
Hi, I'm Saha. I'm the Communications and Marketing Manager, and I'm really looking forward to working with everyone within the Northwest to bring out some of the great stories and elevate the brilliant work that people are already doing within the region, whilst making that impactful change that the world so desperately needs right now.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Dennis.
Hi, I'm Dennis. I'm the co-founder of the World Reimagined. We've been speaking to Liverpool City Region and the Combined Authority for a good year or so about bringing the World Reimagined to life with the good people of the Liverpool City Region. So we're so excited that we are finally here and able to share it. I would love to share. Can I share now, Carolyn? Is that what we're going with? Yeah. So I'll share a little bit of the origin story of how the World Reimagined sort of came about, so you sort of understand what our thinking was and how it developed. I've got to pass apologies on behalf of my co-founder, Michelle Gale, who would have loved to have been here with you. And I think I'm going to share quite a bit of my sort of personal story just in terms of how I describe it, because I think, as you'll see, with the team, we'll bring our experiences and our, and our expertise to the table in our own unique different ways. So I can only sort of speak for myself. This has been built with so many people, both working on it now as part of our board. We've got Lee Lawrence, who is a restorative justice campaigner after his mum, Cherry Gross, was shot in 1985 by the Met Police, which led to the Brixton uprisings. We've got Julian Joseph, the Sky News presenter. We've got Fiona Compton, the founder of Know Your Caribbean and an artist historian. We've got Musa Begbuna, educator and a social campaigner in the Northwest. So just an extraordinary group of people that have lent their expertise to this. So while I share it through my lens, that is not how it was being built. It's been built with all of these pieces and valuing everybody's stories in a really powerful way. So the World Reimagined began when I met Michelle in 2018 at an event that my wife and I hosted for Nelson Mandela Centenary. It was an event with Andrew Mangeni over there, who was a dear friend and who he was on trial and in prison with Nelson Mandela, and he was in prison with Madiba for 26 years. And then he went on to serve 20 years in the South African Parliament. He's an extraordinary human being. And Andrew, often spoke about this idea that our reality is created by the decisions that we make every single day in every part of our lives. And those, in our families, in our communities, in our businesses, in our workplaces. And those decisions themselves are shaped and motivated and driven and defined by, what we understand about the world, what we understand about how we came to be here, and what we understand about how we connect to one another, and what we understand about what we can do and our power to change things. And so Andrew obviously spoke about that from the context of how they thought about a free South Africa. And then Michelle and I talked about that in the context of how do you make racial equality a reality in this country? How do we think about what we understand about how we came to be here? What do we think about how we understand our shared history? And Michelle came to that conversation with her background as a black woman in the public eye for 25, 30 years. Her mum was a community activist for decades. Her family came to the UK from Jamaica. I came to that to that conversation with my background, which is half German, half South African. And I think it's fair to say those societies have to do some work. But I was very fortunate, which was my granddad was Nelson Mandela's accountant back in the 50s and 60s for the law firm of Mandela and Tambo. And so when I grew up, I not only got to meet all these amazing people who were people who made decisions day in, day out with incredible courage. But I also got to hear conversations about the importance of processing pain and trauma and truth and reconciliation if we're going to be able to move forward. And both South Africa and Germany, they've been imperfect, but they really tried to do that work. And growing up in the UK as I did, I think it's fair to say, I think it's very clear in the last couple of years that the UK hasn't done enough of that work. I know across the Liverpool City region, you've been having a lot of that conversation recently, and the plaques unveiled in recent days, are such an important moment. But I went through the English school system. All I ever learned about the transatlantic trade and enslaved Africans was that William Wilberforce was a nice white guy who ended it. And if that's the limit of our understanding, then our ability to change things is going to be limited as well. So that's what Michelle and I talked about, which is I don't have to tell anybody in Liverpool City region about how much knowledge and how much scholarship there is out there. It's not about discovering new things. It is about sharing and inviting more people to join the conversation. In the spirit of that great Maya Angelou quote that says, do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, you can do better. So, what Michelle and I talked about is how do we create, how can we create a program that invites people, not with a finger pointing and blame, but, out of compassion, and says, you're invited and you've got a role to play as well. And, in recognizing that everybody has a role to play, how can we honor and uplift and point them to the amazing, amazing, amazing organizations who've been doing the work of making racial justice a reality, day in, day out for decades. So, that's sort of the intent of the World Reimagined. It is how do we invite and grow the family of people who are involved in the work of making racial justice a reality by enabling them, directing them, and enabling them to connect with the people who are doing the work on the ground, and through that provide support and champion you and honor the work that you do. So that's probably hopefully a good background. That's sort of where we came from, and we chose sculpture trails because not only are they proven to reach huge numbers of people, but we know that every great movement of social change has had art, has inspired great art, and great art has inspired great social change. So that's the background of our program. Back to you, Karen.
Thank you so much for sharing the origin story. It's always really inspiring to hear what brought us all here. So before we move forward, I would ask you to please share any questions you have. We've got the learning, you'll hear about learning, artistic and heritage. So if you have any questions, just drop them down in the chat. So now I will hand you over to Chantel, who's going to share the framework that is going to be driving us on this incredible journey we want to go on, the journey of discovery.
Excellent, thank you. So I'm going to take you through the journey of discovery, and there are 9 key themes, and they're at the core of everything that we do here at the World Reimagined. Our very first theme is Mother Africa, and Mother Africa shares the richness of the African continent before the transatlantic slave trade. Far too often when the history of Africa is addressed, it starts at the transatlantic slave trade. And we really wanted to start at the beginning to honor the continent's rich history and all of its influences on the world, from its culture to fashion, art, science, philosophy, architecture, you name it. The second theme is the reality of being enslaved. And this makes real the experiences of the enslaved African people, from their point of capture to their voyage through the Middle Passage, and then everything that came for them after. Then our third theme is Stolen Legacy, Rebirth of a Nation. And this really important theme explains how Britain built its power, its influence, and its wealth from the work of the enslaved, something that we still can see across so many parts of British society today, especially when we consider our churches, our universities, and the very foundation of the banks. Then the fourth theme is abolition and emancipation, which of course is about sharing the heroes and the allies, but it also explores the more complex motivations behind abolition and the difficult reality of emancipation once people are freed. We really wanted to move beyond just naming pioneers and start to consider and probe at questions like why. Did it take place when it did? The hows, like how did everything manifest? And I guess what was the fallout after? Then our fifth theme is the complex triangle. And this looks at Britain's more complicated relationship with Africa, the Caribbean, and the Americas. So, a way to really encapsulate this theme is something like Windrush. If you consider people from the Commonwealth who were invited to the UK to contribute to British society, which they did, then the same people decades later deported and rejected and just really made to feel unwelcome in their own home. Then our sixth theme is Echoes in the Present, and this shares the behavioral, the psychological, and the systemic inequalities that are experienced every day. All of those things that are a direct consequence of the trade and of this history. And whilst there will be people who will say, leave the past in the past, this theme, very clearly shows us that this past is directly shaping our present, and it's something not only to acknowledge, but to address. Then our seventh theme is Still We Rise. This recognizes those who resisted, and this honors the descendants of the enslaved who have succeeded, breaking new ground in every walk of life, which leads us really nicely into our eighth theme, which is Expanding Soul. And Expanding Soul is a theme all about celebration. It celebrates a huge cultural impact of the African diaspora across the world. It's a theme about joy, vibrancy, and the diversity that's expressed in all forms of art, which takes us to our final theme, Reimagine the Future. And with this theme, if we consider the fact that we've now gone on this journey together, we've explored this history and acknowledged it, and more importantly, we've acknowledged each other. This theme asks the very important questions like, what is the future we can create together? And how can we create a future where there is racial justice and equality? So our journey of discovery takes you right to the beginning, explores our shared yet complex history, then most importantly departs at a point of celebration, a point of hope, and optimism where we're looking forward into the future. I'll just hand back to Carolyn.
Thank you so much. It's so great to share the journey of discovery because it's really the foundation of all that we do. So please go ahead and check it out on our website. There's some beautiful visuals that go along with it. And if you haven't already, please connect with us on our socials. They are being shared in the chat. We would really love to connect with you and we'll create some really great content. And last but definitely not least, please do add any questions and we will answer them at once all at the end. So now I invite Dennis back on the screen to share more about the artistic program.
Fabulous. So so our artistic program is led by Ashley Shawscott Adjay, and Ashley sends her apologies. She would have loved to have been with you today, but I'm afraid is traveling. So I'm going to not speak for her, but speak on her behalf. I believe is the best phrase. So the way that we first of all bring the journey discovery to life is that physical journey of a sculpture trail, and I'm going to attempt some technical wizardry and share my screen while I talk. So let's hope that works. So we're really excited that we've had our wonderful sculpture designed by our founding artist, Yinka Shonibare, British Nigerian artist and a prize nominee, and Yinka's done breakthrough work, both exploring this history and the connections of culture across continents. And Yinka designed this shape as the base shape for the World Reimagined because he not only wanted to reference the geographic nature of the transatlantic trade and enslaved Africans, but he also wanted to give the greatest possible canvas to artists to respond and bring their own interpretation to the themes that Chantal shared. So all of these globes are going to be exactly the same shape. They're going to be 1.8, 1.9 meters in height, 1.4 meters in diameter. They're not all going to have a map on it. That was Yinka's choice for his design, the World Reimagined, from which we took our name because we were so inspired by that creative insight he had. And so each of the trails, so alongside the Liverpool City region, we're also going to be in Birmingham, in Bristol, in Leeds, in Leicester, in London and in Swansea. So each of those trails are going to be 10 globes in length, one for each of those journey discovery themes that Chantal described, and then a 10th one where we commission an artist to work with communities all across the Liverpool City region to create a globe that really powerfully speaks to place and brings your voice and your experience, your ideas, your reflections into the world reimagined in a really powerful way. Now, across the country, we're going to be creating, people sometimes say to us, oh, is it the same trail in each place? No, they are not. They are unique trails all at the same time. So we are creating, in total, 101 globe sculptures that are going to see artists respond to those themes and, as I say, work with communities. Now, the artistic program that Ashley has created brings together a number of different groups of artists, as it were. We've got principal artists. So these are artists who've exhibited internationally, and have got a long track record of delivering work and exploring these subject matters, exploring this history in a really meaningful way. So, people like Laquena Kaiba, Kamathi Donkor, Zach Ove, Nicola Green, all taking part in the World Reimagined and contributing designs. Then we have our Caribbean artists, where Arts Council England has supported us or enabled us to commission 5 artists from the Caribbean, representing the Bahamas, Barbados, Jamaica, Dominica, Trinidad and Tobago, and bringing their voices into the World Reimagined. Then we have those artists, that artist commission that's going to create that 10th globe in the Liverpool City region trail, working with communities. And then we've had our open call, where we've had hundreds of submissions from across the country, and they've been considered by a jury that features the Turner Prize winner Chris Feely, Zoe Whitley as the director of the Chisenhale Gallery, Renee Musai, who's the senior curator of Autograph, and Professor Matthew Smith, who is the director of UCL's Center for the Study of the Legacy of British Slavery. So an incredible group of people where we really try to focus on making sure the quality of the art and the quality of the story being told, does justice to and honors the subject matter and all of the people it represents, both historically, but also all of the community organizations who do such incredible work now. So that's how our artistic program comes together. We're delighted that we're working very closely with the Liverpool City Region Combined Authority to make sure that, of course, part of the trail will happen in Liverpool, but that we reach all of the boroughs with the trail in a really meaningful way. So we're excited about how that's coming together. Now, our the larger globes are not going to be the only globes that you're going to find around Liverpool City Region, which will be handily connected by a digital platform where you can scan a QR code on the base of the globe and you can find out where the next globe is, as well as about the artists and what they were hoping to create. You'll also be able to find out where our learning globes are, which are created by schools from across the Liverpool City Region through our learning program. So to describe that, I'm going to hand over to Chantal.
So with our learning program, we've approached it in the same way as everything else. It's an opportunity to do more than just give information. We've used it as an opportunity to really create something that speaks to our young people, that creates a moment of real meaning for students and schools, something that makes our young learners think about how they see the world, their place in it, and their power to change. So we've created an offer to schools that comes in two parts. There are classroom resources, and then there's leadership in teaching training. Our classroom resources were created with educators, artists, and historians, subject matter experts, people like Floella Benjamin, Professor Kehinde Andrews, and the cast of the West End's Hamilton. And for primary schools, they cover the theme of Mother Africa. And for secondary schools and colleges, they cover all 9 themes of the journey of discovery. Alongside our classroom resources, we also offer leadership in teaching training, which of course gives tips on how to use the resources, but it also says to teachers, you're a role model and a leader for racial equality in your school. And here are some really important insights to help you step into that role with confidence. Things like how to think about power and privilege, how to facilitate open dialogue, and how to become more intentional about putting your values into action. And this offer is shared with schools in 2 forms. There's the poetic program, where students respond with poetry and the spoken word, which will be shared across our platforms. And this is free to all schools across the UK. And then there's the Globe program, for which sign up closed at the end of March. And this sees schools across our host cities create their own smaller globe that will feature in their local community in places like libraries and shopping centres during the World Reimagined. After that, they'll be returned to their school as a legacy. And just 2 weeks ago, we had 250th schools sign up to a learning program, which is incredibly exciting because we just cannot wait to see how young children are going to join in this conversation with their creativity and most importantly with their voice. So we're really looking forward to that. So I'm going to hand over now to Esther, who's going to go through our heritage program.
Hi, thank you very much, Chantal. So the heritage program is going to be an opportunity for members of the public as they go around the trail to get a deep dive and more information and more knowledge around the 9 themes that we're exploring as part of the journey of discovery. So the Heritage Lottery Fund have supported us with some funding to build the Journey of Discovery online collection. So as Dennis referred to earlier, we will hopefully have QR codes on the base of the globes as people go around. They'll be able to go in and dive deep and be able to answer further questions that they might have around Mother Africa, the reality of being enslaved, echoes in the present. So we're trying to build a collection of around 100 stories per city that really talk to all of those different themes, people histories around the street names. There's already been work that's been done in your region, and we really want to build on that and give that work a platform so that people understand where they can go for more knowledge about what's happened in the city, about the history of those elevated people. As I mentioned, I was at Liverpool University. I stayed on Greenbank Halls, which had the Derby and Rathbone and Roscoe and Gladstone Halls, which have now had their names changed. And so really reflecting on some of those things that have changed in the history of the city, about what those legacies are, but also getting real information about the places, people, and all the different stories that can be explored. And we want it to be rich and ignite people's curiosity, so that people can stand up and say, well, actually, you may think that Black people weren't here, but actually we know there was someone who was buried in St Nicholas's Church. And that unites with the work that Liverpool City Region's already doing with your Plaques project, and making sure that there is a real acknowledgement going on across the region. So that's the Journey of Discovery collection. We're really hoping that people will get an idea for those lost and obscured, sometimes erased histories, and share tales of local residents, local heroes, people who visited the city, as well as people who've been involved in this this trade that has gone on and permeated all of our lives for so long. So thank you very much, and I'm going to hand back over to Carolyn.
Thank you so much, Esther. And thank you all of you for sharing the different strands of the program, from the artistic aspect with the art as an intervention tool, to working in schools, to capturing local stories. I hope we've made it clear how we can really engage different members of society. Personally, I was drawn to this project because I loved using as an artist, I love the idea of using art as an intervention tool, but I also work in leadership and development. And I think this is all gonna culminate in a lot of shared learning. So now to the reason why you're all really here is to hear more about the community program. Now, it really sits at the core of the World Reimagined. Now, we described the other pieces of the World Reimagined first because we wanted to give you the full content in which the community program sits. And I want to be clear that this is not a community program that is about what we do, but about how we honor what you do. After all, the entire point of the World Reimagined is to create a moment and a platform that honors the countless people and organizations who do the work of making racial equality a reality, and to support those organizations to continue doing the work and share it with more people. And so we developed the Inspire program, which invites you to host activities and events during the World Reimagined from August to October, which speak to our shared mission that we can showcase and promote far and wide. Now, we chose the word inspire deliberately, but it's not about us. It's about you and the work that you do. So for those long committed to the work of racial justice, you inspire us with your expertise, commitment, and impact. For those new to the mission and the subject, you inspire us with your openness and desire to step into the work and contribute. Together, you show us that the progress is possible, hard, but possible. And with the support of Esme Fairburn Foundation, we are excited that we were able to appoint Ibe to be our community coordinator in the Liverpool City region. So I'm honored to hand it over to Ibe to share how we'll be working with you over the next few weeks and months. Ibe, take it over.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to tell you a bit about the community program today, the Inspire program. But first of all, I'll tell you a bit about me. I'm Ibe, which is short for Ibauchi. My mother didn't want me to forget my Nigerian roots. Little did I know, 20, 30 years later, that Ibe would become a famous website on the internet. I'm passionate about activism in the community. I live in Liverpool, off Smithdown Road. My mother, aunties, uncles, nieces, nephews, they've all been here for the last 50 years. And my children have been and will be educated here. So my concerns are for this city. I'm involved in a number of projects, a number of initiatives, a number of collaborations, Cycle of Life, which some of you might have heard of. We're trying to widen participation in cycling. from diverse communities in the city. I teach mechanics. I'm part of BLAST, which is I'm on the working group of BLAST, which is a collaborative of Black socially trading organisations within Liverpool City region. LA to Better Place, I'm on the steering group of that. As the name says, trying to make LA to a better place. I'm an active citizen with the Cumberamani Millennium Centre. The Liverpool 8 CLT, I'm on the working group of that. I'm a member of the Merseyside Cycle Campaign and the Liverpool City Region Active Travel Forum. So my work primarily concerns health, well-being, social justice. So when I first heard about the World Reimagined, I thought, that's got my name on it. What really resonated with me was how the World Reimagined uses public art to have difficult conversations, the kind of conversations which excel our communities in terms of professional development, or better our understanding of where we stand in British history, which ultimately is going to create a better environment and financial security of the Black community. So let's talk about how we can support you and your organisation. The vision of the World Reimagined, how I understand it, is that we're going to get hundreds of thousands of visitors who are going to go through the trail, and they're going to get inspired. And they're going to want to be involved. They might say to themselves, what can I want to do something for racial justice. Or they might say, I want to learn more about our shared histories. Well, we want to be able to connect them to you. And we want to be able to say, there's an amazing group here, which you can connect with and collaborate with. Or we'll say, do you know about this event that's going on, which is taking place this month? If we build an effective relationship to promote your work, we will help many organisations to grow. In terms of audience, network and support, we're hoping this is going to have a lasting impact on the city. That's why we hope you're going to host lots of events and activities during the trail period. The trail period's from August until the end of October. And we want to be able to celebrate and promote what you're doing in the community. They don't have to be new events, like they don't have to be something that you put on specifically made just for this period. They could be things that you're already doing, but the TWR, they want to support them and share the work with many more people. So let's make it real. There's 3 ways we can do it. One way is with money. So the TWR have got a grant pot of £8,000 for the region. And that's to support events and activities during that period with the World Reimagined. Within that, there's 2 partnership grants of £3,000. These are for partnerships that either there's going to be like they could bring people together. It could be like one big organisation and one smaller grassroots organisation. And the aim is to connect audiences and support the growth of the smaller organisation. Or secondly, to bring together an organisation doing racial justice work with one that's new, to broaden out the people who are involved in this work and share their expertise. In addition to these 2 partnership grants, there's some micro grants as well, which are up to £500, and they're for hosting events and making it easier and possible to do that. Applying for the grants is open to everyone, but obviously we already got a select number that we will be able to make it. We've worked to make the application process as easy as possible, and we're working to identify other funding opportunities for organisations that they can apply for as well. The second way we can support is with regular workshops. Every second Tuesday, beginning from the 19th of April, we're going to be holding online workshops for community organisations across all the host cities. So that's including Liverpool City region. Most of them are going to focus on skill-based topics, and they'll have a range of speakers and people talking about topics like applying for grants, creative community engagement, hosting audiences, encouraging allyship, people are collaborating, and also taking care of our own mental health, which is really important as well. Some sessions will be for connecting with community organisations across the country, to share experiences, what's going on in Leeds, what's going on in London, what's going on in Bristol, and sharing expertise and getting to know each other better. The shared mission behind the World Reimagined is fundamentally about building solidarity and strength. And we know sometimes it's hard to connect. So these online workshops are going to be open to everyone. Alongside the online workshops, every 2 weeks, I'm going to be hosting a monthly in-person workshop, face-to-face, where we can come together and share ideas to work out how we can make the World Reimagined the biggest possible opportunity for everyone. The third way we can support organisations is through promotion. You're going to be able to submit your event with the World Reimagined to be listed on our digital platform, which we then promote to trail visitors and across all our channels. This will help develop audiences and support. It's open to everyone, and anyone who's hosting an event which is in the spirit of the World Reimagined. You won't need to have received a commission or take part in the workshops. We'll just share and celebrate all the work that people do for racial justice, which we can. And so through these 3 ways of supporting, money, workshops and promotions, I hope that organisations host their events and activities so we can share and celebrate and grow the community of people who get involved in those conversations and work for racial justice. That's the most of our Inspire programme, but actually there's a bit more. It's important to us that the community is at the centre of everything involved in the World Reimagined, every part of the World Reimagined. You've heard about the community globes. That will be the 10 globes in the trail. But we'll also work over the next year to connect community organisations with our heritage partners, with our schools, and with all of our corporate partners, so that the relationships we will build during the World Reimagined will benefit you in the long run. And that also that speaks to what happens after the trails leave the streets. First of all, the community globe will be gifted to the people of Liverpool as a lasting legacy. We're working with Liverpool City Region Combined Authority to make sure that this is done in a safe and accessible way. The majority of the globes are going to be auctioned. The money raised will go to make sure our learning programme and the Journey of Discovery history collection stays accessible for the community. But the majority will be going to create what we hope will be a 6-figure grant-making programme for racial justice projects and organisations across all the host cities, which everyone's going to be able to apply for from 2023. So we hope that's where, whether it's in the support or the connection to the hundreds of thousands of visitors to the trail, or in the longer term grant making we're working to raise, we hope that you'll see the opportunity and as something exciting and the World Reimagined for you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibe, for sharing that. Please do go along to the first in-person event on the 23rd of this month at the Kumba Imani, and we will share those details in the chat. So please do get in touch with the coordinator. But if you have any general questions about this program, you could always contact Inspire at the World Reimagined. So now we are going to open up the floor for some questions from everyone. So I'm just opening up and having a look. So question 1 from Lisa. We are one of the lucky schools that have received a bursary and will be creating a globe. Is there any social media assets packs that we can use to begin to promote the event and our involvement? And if I could ask Saha to answer that, that would be fantastic.
Hi. Yeah, we will be having, we have a set of assets that we've created for each of our host cities. So what I can do, Lisa, is I will pop my email address into the chat, and then you and I, we can take this offline. But certainly we would appreciate any kind of help and promotion that you guys from the school side could be doing for us as well.
Thank you so much, Saha. Next question, Akil Morgan, capoeira for all, how are physical arts being supported to take part, dance, drama, etc. We welcome you to connect with the community coordinator because we want engaging. That's why we say activities, because it doesn't just have to be an event. And this could be an opportunity to collaborate with another community partner. They could be opportunities to co-host events where we deliver and we showcase what you're doing. So definitely get in touch with the coordinator and let's start brainstorming what we could do and how we could utilize this excellent sport. Thank you for that. I hope that answered your question. Next one is anonymous. If we want to echo and promote events nationally, is the best way to keep them in touch with all projects. Am I reading that right? If we want to echo and promote events nationally, is there a best way to keep in touch with all of the project? So I assume you mean the entire program and all the activities, because there's so many different engagements that are happening for the learning program, for the community program, but we are developing our event listing website, which everybody will be open to promoting their own events that relate and connect to our shared mission and vision. And we will be using that as like a central point so everyone can always go and see what's happening nationally. And we're really excited to kind of build that out. So if you do have anything that's happening between August and October, we want to hear about it and we want to promote it. Hope that answered your question. The next one from Ed. Just checking the amounts that were available. Was 8,000 and 3,000 partnership. I mean, I can clarify. So there is the micro grants, which are multiples of up to 500, and then there's 2 partnership grants available of 3,000. Okay, and each partnership can be 2-3 people, depending on what kind of project that you're doing. I hope that clarifies it. Dennis, would you like to add?
Just to say, the only thing is that then the total of that therefore makes the 8,000. So there's 8,000 for the Liverpool City region, broken down in the way that Karen just described.
Thank you, Dennis. And we have another question from the local authority department. We support the arts and culture and heritage. How can we help promote and support this? Well, I think please connect to all our socials. We are trying to do as much engagement work. Please promote all our community events. There will be regular monthly events with the coordinators leading them. And then there'll also be the Inspire events online, which are capacity upskilling workshops, which anyone can attend. And there'll be toolkits that we're developing as well. So I think letting as many people as you know, because pretty much anyone can connect with this program, and definitely, you know, go ahead to the trails and share your experience and share just what you've learned from this whole journey. Got another question that's come through from Spec Adventure, Michael from Spec Adventure. So they'll make contact. Okay, so you're asking about the funds to support the community globe and only refer to schools. So I'll bring Dennis in for this.
So we are connecting directly with schools for the smaller globes. We're really incredibly grateful that Liverpool City Region Combined Authority is making it possible for some community organisations to connect to create community globes. So that's a conversation directly with them, but we're thrilled to have you part of the project, and that we've had the Combined Authority support in that way. So it's slightly different just in terms of who's leading on that part of the project. If that makes sense.
Thank you so much for that. So Alice, you've asked about an event that you have with 6 secondary schools displaying artwork, addressing some issues on racial justice, and you're wondering if you could apply for grants to support the students' interactive engagement on the day they showcase their art and signpost to TWR. So if it's on the 1st of July, unfortunately, no, because the grants are open for applying on the 1st of May and the deadline is the 31st. We'll let people know in June and we'll be starting to upload a lot of the content and the activity that's happening. So what would be really great is if you could share like the outcome of that. Maybe that's something that you could incorporate into another relationship. You know, you have the resources, you have the knowledge and the art. So, you know, reuse it, find another way to engage with us with it. So I think this is another opportunity to really explore with the coordinator and see what you have and what you want to do, because maybe there's something else that you can do down the line that we could support. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, excellent. I think that's it for questions. But if you have any additional questions, please drop us a line on Inspire at the World Reimagined, and we will continue the conversation offline. Thank you so much for engaging with us and asking us your questions. I'm sure it's such a robust program. You're probably going to have more questions as it goes along. But now I'd really like to invite you to listen to this wonderful poem that has been written, narrated, and performed by Keisha Thompson, who happens to be our head of learning. Thank you very much. Can you switch it on, Dennis?
In order to reimagine something, you need to understand what it is first. I thought the world was equivalent to the earth, but when you check the definition, the world means all of human activity. It's not about the physical globe, but about the physical nature of humanity. I guess that's where I've been going wrong. I've been trying to reimagine the world on my own, but it doesn't belong to me. You're not an ink drop on this lonely narrator's tongue. If I close my eyes this time, will you promise to come with me? You see, a dream is like a cloud, it's deceptively heavy. The imagination is far too vast for one person to explore. So come with me, whilst I try to reimagine once more. To reimagine means to take a mental picture, to take something that exists and put it in a different context, like a Benin bronze in a British Museum cabinet. See, I don't really want to make mistakes of the past. I want to make compost of inherited hate, and circular debates frustrate my fears until they're surpassed. So I guess that's where the re-bit comes in. Re means to go backwards and start again. For too long, we've been singing a song of denial and discomfort, tonsils thronging with the discordant sounds of a legacy gone wrong. We all make mistakes, but when you make a wrong turn, you can't keep driving straight, looking for change. So put me off. I won't be fueled by misguided pride and polished shame. I can no longer close my eyes when there's so much work to do. Put the nose back on the Sphinx. Take the myth out of Timbuktu. I want to reach down the back of the sofa of this society and fish around for all that loose change. Like Aloda Equiano to slavery's abolition, Samuel Coleridge Taylor to the classical music composition, Princess Sophia Duleep Singh to the suffragettes. You don't have to go far to see how easy it is to forget. No wonder my eyes don't want to invest in frivolous fiction when there's so much fact waiting for its recognition. I thought I could fix things by simply asking you to join me in the dark room of humanity, but photography, it's not a row of negatives waiting to be seen. It's about exposing what has already been. To reach the unknown, you have to retrieve, recall, rewild, reinstall, repurpose, repair, go back to the beginning, start again, but now do it with flair. The world reimagined is a lotus bud waiting to unfold. The world reimagined is bubble bath in the hands of a 5-year-old. The world reimagined is our story untold. And telling it won't be easy, but that doesn't mean it can't be fun. We can turn fossils into plectrums, reject all that humdrum stuff fed to us without question. No suggestion that the truth is a spectrum. If you're the Berlin Wall, I'll be the graffiti. If you're a scroll, I'll be the words of Rumi, because there's no song outside of our vocal range. If I set my mind to it, my voice is louder than climate change. So take a step back. Use what's there. Make it new. Duchamp's masterpiece Fountain was an upgraded loo, and it was actually discovered by a baroness called Elsa, to be completely honest with you. Like a Rorschach image, we all start from the same place, then come out with different perspectives, and where we've gone wrong in the past is our failure to respect this. The World Reimagined is a gallery of things we were not sold. The World Reimagined is a humble alchemist's gold. The World Reimagined is our story untold.
And that is the wonderful poem, the World Reimagined poem by Keisha Thompson. That is available on, a link for that is available on the first page of our website. And we hope that you will share it far and wide because it's beautiful. We will also be sharing the recordings of all of our launches, including this one, at the end of this week on our YouTube channel. So you can share for anyone who might have arrived late, or maybe for colleagues that were able to attend. So please do make sure you do connect with us on our socials to keep up to date with what's happening. Also visit our pages. We have the micro grants and partnership grants details up on our website, as well as the details of the Inspire/capacity events that are coming up. So thank you for joining us to hear our plans that are going to be happening in the Liverpool City region. We're really thankful to Liverpool City Region Combined Authority for all their support, and Sky, our presenting partner, of course, to Esme Fairbairn Foundation for funding the Inspire program. And if you haven't already, please check the chat. And if you would like to continue any questions, please contact Inspire at the World Reimagined. If I could invite our team to switch on the camera so we could say goodbye to everyone. Thank you so much for your time. Please do connect with Ibe at his first face-to-face on the 26th at the Kumba Imani. And I think that one of the questions is what time. It starts at 7 o'clock. So that'll be a really great opportunity to explore any ideas you have about getting involved. Thank you all. Thank you. Have a really great afternoon.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.